All right, everybody, welcome. This is Darren Kidd, and we're excited tonight to bring you some information that can definitely be life-changing and business-changing. And we're really excited to have the infamous Ray Higdon with us. And so do me a favor. I know we're broadcasting on YouTube. We're broadcasting on Periscope, Twitter. We're broadcasting on Facebook. So we got multiple platforms that are all coming into one. And so let us know in the next just few seconds where you're watching from. So we got California. Thanks for joining. And also too, as we watch this, whether you're watching replay or live, make sure you tag anyone that you feel like that they need to hear this information tonight, because this is a training that I believe is going to help shave years off your learning curve, could possibly give you that aha moment that could help take you to the next level. And so, Ray, we appreciate you joining.
Yeah,
and, we'll give us a few seconds. How are you?
I'm good. I didn't realize I'm infamous. I'll take it. I've been called worse.
Right, there you go. Well, we got a lot of Ray Higdon fans that are going to be on here tonight and watching the replay. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes. Hey, Lisa, welcome. We got Christine in Massachusetts. We got Brian. Great to see you. All right, so we're just going to give it like 10 more seconds. We're going to go ahead and get started because I don't want to waste any of your time, and I like to get straight to the good stuff. Right. How many of you are ready to take some good notes in that? While we're getting ready to get started, here's what I recommend. Definitely make sure you have pen and paper handy. Do not trust your fortune to your memory. I would rather trust a short pencil than a long memory any day of the week. And plus that spaced repetition. Hey, Carl, thanks for joining. Hey, Stacy. Repetition is the mother of skill, and over 50% of what you retain is after the fifth time you hear it, you see it, or you read it. And so I'm now still going back over my notes. Some of Ray Higdon, what I've learned from him recently that I learned several years ago, I still have those notes. And guess what? When I look at the notes, it's not that the notes have changed, but I have changed. And they mean something different to me now than they did back then. And so I'm just very thankful that I had some mentors that came into my life that really encouraged me to take notes and, treat it like a business. And I know that's difficult, when Ray, I don't know if you know this, but my wife and I had 2 frozen yogurt franchises, and we spent $700,000 with their partners in those 2 franchises. And we were building a team at the same time, and we were making more money in 1 month in our network marketing business than we were both those franchises combined in a year. But the difference was my mindset with my business in network marketing. I was treating it, hey, thank you, Stacy, for sharing. Appreciate that. I treat it like I invested that type of money. All right. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. And so listen, for all of you that are watching from all over the world, I'm really excited because I have respected and looked up to Ray for a long time. I've learned a lot from his trainings. And here's what I know. Some of you are on here tonight because you want to go, what's working in 2020? How do I speed up my business? How do I get to where I want to be sooner than later? Well, here's one way to grow really slow. Okay, so if your goal is to grow really slow, you try to figure it out all on yourself, by yourself, right? And you take years like I did. I used to joke and say, hey, look, I may not be fast, but I'm slow. Okay? But at least I was consistent because I failed for 7 years. And I finally got to the point, I'm like, I'm done. I'm never doing this again, right? If anybody approaches me, even at church, I'm going to just smack them and say I was laying hands on them and praying for them, right? But when I finally had the right mentors that came into my life that taught me what to do and what not to do, a whole different world opened up. Okay, so when I left the network marketing profession as a distributor after 28 years, and I went into the training world, and I told a few close friends, hey, listen, I'm going to do a VIP day with Ray Higdon. And they go, man, what's that? What's that investment? Or they say, what's that cost, right? And I'm like, there's no cost. It's an investment. And then when I told them the amount, they're like, why would you do that? That's crazy. I'm like, no, what's crazy is me trying to spend years trying to figure out what to do right when I can hire Ray and shave years off my learning curve. I like to call it success compression, compressed time frames, because I don't want to make all the same mistakes that he made. Am I going to make mistakes? Yes. But can he help me avoid some of those pitfalls? They say if you're going to go through a landmine, make sure that you walk with someone that's already been through that, right? So they show you where to step and where not to step. And so for all of you that are on here tonight, not only, is Ray Higdon one of the top trainers in all of network marketing, like known all around the world, right? And his reputation speaks for itself, but yet he was a top money earner and was a distributor. And yes, we can teach things that we don't necessarily know ourselves. And I know, Ray, you talk about the ILT, and I love that. But I also love going to someone because I believe if we buy their opinion, we buy their lifestyle. So knowing that you've actually been in the field, and I know that John Maxwell says a leader will tell but never teach until they practice what they preach. And it's hard to talk about what we don't do, just like it's hard to come back from somewhere we've never been. And so knowing that you have actually been in the shoes, there's people on here tonight, just like always, that are brand new, right? Congratulations, great decision. There's people that are stuck, okay, whether they're stuck just getting started, or maybe they're top leaders that are stuck and they're ready to just break through to that next level. And when they hear, and I know, Ray, when people hear your story, a lot of them say immediately, well, I could never do what Ray Higdon did. You know, he must have just, he must have been this great his entire life, right? And so your story is really powerful. And so before we get into some of the things that are really working in 2020, and we're going to give them something toward the end of this, training that can help speed up your business 1 to 2 years in a 72-hour window. But before we do that, if you don't mind, would you share with them a little bit more about your story and your background? Because I think that's going to make a big difference.
Yeah, for sure. And appreciate that. Appreciate the introduction, and appreciate that you got all the amazing sayings, man. I gotta get more rhymes. I gotta work on my rhyme skills. But yeah, I am someone that's failed in a lot of different things. In my first 3 years of network marketing, I'm pretty sure I was in 11 or 12 companies. And because I didn't get it. I just didn't understand it. I thought it was transactional. I thought it was like, have a product for every person you meet kind of thing. And I just didn't get it. I didn't understand culture. I didn't understand community. I didn't understand, I just didn't understand leadership, and didn't understand what the profession was all about. I thought it was like, like an Amazon store or something. You just sell travel or shampoo or cream or whatever. And so, was in all these different things. And what got me serious about network marketing was my complete and devastating failure in real estate. So when the real estate market crashed, I got completely wiped out to the tune of emptying my 401k and my IRA, selling my furniture to try to stay afloat. That didn't work. Ended up losing that home in foreclosure. Went through a divorce right around the same time. Was being chased by bill collectors. And, people will come up to me and say, man, you just don't understand. I'm $30,000 in debt. I'm like, oh, good for you. Such restraint. I was over $1 million in debt. So literally someone homeless was worth $1 million more than me. And it's something that I went through a very deep depression. I was getting blackout drunk almost every night. And I'm not proud of that because I am a father, and, I should have been more responsible. But I think like a lot of guys, in their younger age, they associate their net worth with their self-worth. And that was me. I felt worthless. I felt like a loser. And it was tough. It was a very, very tough time. So and this is such an important takeaway right now. Here I was in the state of Florida. Real estate market had wiped me out, but it also wiped out everybody else. Like literally everyone I knew was also wiped out. So no one was hiring. Almost everyone was in some form of foreclosure to some degree, right? My credit was shot. I had 2 credit cards left that hadn't figured out that I wasn't paying them either. And I really didn't have many options. So I'm forever grateful to my good friend Chris out of Cape Coral, Florida, that approached me and told me about his network marketing opportunity. Thank God that he wasn't too worried about how he'd look by prospecting me, that what if I rejected him or called him a dummy? Like, I'm so grateful that he reached out to me, and that changed my life. I looked at that as an opportunity to, I didn't have any options. No one's hiring, credit shot. I don't have money. What else can I do? And so I joined that company, didn't know all the, nooks and crannies of leadership or culture or community or anything like that, but I was going to figure it out. And so I embraced two words, the words until and the word despite. I was going to work this until I became a top earner, and I was going to work it despite all my past and any upcoming obstacles, because I knew there'd be some. And so back 2009, I started doing some things around network marketing on social media that were kind of made me the black sheep for a few years. There were a lot of people, like I remember, Darren, you'd like this. So I remember going to a company event. A guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I hear you recruit a lot of people on Facebook." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm recruiting on Facebook." And back then it wasn't like it is now. See, now it's like, "Oh, you recruit people offline? Tell me what that's like." Interesting. So you meet humans. Wow. Oh, weird. Back then, it was the other way around. Back then it was, oh, social media, those guys don't know what the heck they're doing. You got to do it the traditional way. And I never bashed the traditional way, by the way. I mean, I did for 6-7 months straight. I did at least 6 meetings a week. So I never bashed old school, or traditional, as they say. I knew that worked, get in front of human beings. I know, right? But I was recruiting a lot of people on Facebook. And this guy comes up and says, "Hey, I hear you're recruiting a lot of people." I'm like, yes, I'm doing my best. And yeah, he goes, "Well, I just prefer duplication." That's exactly what he said to me. Exactly what he said. And I'm like, all right. And so I remember about 3 months from that event, as the number one income earner of that company, who I passed up his personal upline, who he was kind of, like the showcase, the show dog, right? And no hard feelings, whatever. But I remember seeking him out in the crowd and be like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And so,
right?
Nowadays, pretty commonplace for people to build a business on social media. 11 years ago, that wasn't the case. I was kind of the black sheep. And so became the number one income earner in that company. And because my wife and I were doing things differently, I had a lot of leaders that came to me and say, "Hey man, can you teach me what you're doing?" And I rejected coaching anyone outside of my team for years. I mean, I think I took I know we ran our first mastermind in 2013. So it was literally 4 years after being approached nonstop from people saying, "Hey, coach me, coach me." We created some courses and I did some training and stuff, but I just didn't want to coach because I wanted to build my team. That was my focus. But think about this, and I don't think this is a very likely scenario back then or now, but my wife and I had companies hiring us knowing we were the number one income earners in a particular company to teach their field. Now that's you got to have some abundance mindset, because a lot of network marketing company owners would not do that, right? They use the devil. They want to throw holy water on you, not pay you to speak on their stage. And so it was kind of wild. And so fast forward a little bit, 2013, that company decided to merge into another company. And, we ran with that. So we were, from 2009, 2013, we moved with them to another company. And, like the new company, demand for what we were doing kept increasing. And so we're kind of like, we kind of got two businesses now. We got the training company, we got our team. And I don't feel I don't like the feeling that I'm not giving 100% to either. And I looked at, okay, where do I think I can make the biggest difference? And we made the tough decision to retire from building a team, like yourself, made the tough decision to retire from what we really knew and focus on coaching and training. And so that was 2016. And now we love what we do. One of the things we launched 3 years ago is my private group called Rank Makers. And Rank Makers is where I go live every single day. I give an action step and a training. And since we started in July 2017, I started tracking. I wish I would have done it sooner, but I started tracking early 2018. So since early 2018, we've helped network marketers in our group bring in over 208,000 new customers, 49,000 new reps, and achieve 9,175 rank advances. And so we're very much about production. I'm not about, great, applause, I guess. We're very much about how do we get you crushing it in your business. And that's been our focus for, quite a few years now. And so, yeah, I think that kind of catches us up. But if there's anything I left out you want me to cover, I'm certainly happy to.
No, that's awesome. And for all of you that are watching, do me a favor. If you have an aha moment, drop that in the comments. I always like to go back and see what's resonating with everyone. And Ray, so I'm sitting here. Some of the similarities are pretty scary.
One thing I left out, I also bought a franchise. I bought an advertising franchise, and it was not $700,000. So you got me there. It was $40,000 for a manual about this big that said, "You'll never make it. It's not going to work out." Like almost every page was like more and more depressing. A manual this big and 10 empty plastic ad frames. So they didn't have graphics because you had to pay, you had to go find somebody for that. They were 10 black, the cheapest possible thing, black plastic. So 10 of these, I could put my head through it, right? Because there's nothing inside, it's just a frame. 10 empty ad frames, black plastic, a manual for $40,000 and about $3,000 a month so that we could use their name, which no one had ever heard of. And so, that didn't work out very well. We bought it right at the, right when the market started turning and everyone stopped advertising for years. And so that didn't work out. That was a waste of money. But it is one of the reasons that makes me resonate so much with network marketing is it's so low risk, low overhead. The average ordinary person can do it. And, that's just one of the things I love about this industry.
Yeah, what's funny is if I get a little deeper, they weren't even franchises. At that point, they were license agreements that later turned into a franchise. And the difference, I don't know if any of you, know the difference in a franchise and a license agreement. The license agreement, you pay them the money, but they cannot legally promise you 1 minute of training or support. So they're like, give me your money and good luck. And these were frozen yogurt franchises. And the other night I was doing a training and I remembered.
That didn't include inventory.
Oh, no, nothing, nothing. It was a name that no one had heard of at that time called Sweet Frog, which was frozen yogurt.
Wow.
And so the fudge warmer, Ray, all it did was warm fudge that set by the register was back 7-9 years ago, $500, right? The doormat that had a frog on it was $500 that you wipe your feet on when you walk in. Each yogurt machine was $13,000 and they wanted you to have 7 to 10 of them. We had 5-year leases. Yeah, 5-year leases for 1,000 square feet for $4,000 a month 9 years ago.
Wow.
I'm sitting here going, whoa, the beauty of what we have, having less than the half of an iPhone. Most companies for a fraction of a smartphone, you can start your own business. But yeah, it's a voluntary army. How do you get in? I'm in. How do you get out? I'm out. It's what's simple to do is simple not to do.
Right.
And we need a voluntary army, which means that most people, they're not going to do it, but it's important that you're doing it. And the ones that are watching this live or on replay, you're the ones that are serious. We want something different than the masses. We have to be willing to do something different than the masses. But what's a common thread, and when you just shared your story, one of the things that you said, an aha moment for me, you go, a homeless person was $1 million better off than I was because I was $1 million in debt.
Yeah.
So my wife and I, same thing, same story. Yeah. We weren't quite $1 million. I think we were close to $500,000 or something like that. But we car repossessed, on Medicaid, applying for food stamps.
Yep.
I was a college dropout. My wife's a college dropout. I failed in network marketing for 7 years. I was part of the NFL, the No Friends Left Club. But what I learned, and this is important, listen to what you just said, reemphasize that obstacles lead to elevation if you have the right perspective and the right attitude. Without obstacles, there is no elevation.
Right.
And so that's the great thing about the network marketing profession is we get to grow and learn in different areas, of our life. And it doesn't just affect one area, it affects all different areas. So I appreciate you I put down, I've been joking and telling people I'm a hot trainer, and they look, and I know they're looking at their screen going, really? And I mean, honest, open, and transparent.
There you go.
So even though it's humbling when we say those things, when you're saying blackout drunk every night, and and I was depressed, but it's real. And what's crazy is that's only been 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah, that was 11 years ago. Yep.
Right. So you can't change your life overnight or your business overnight, but you can definitely change the direction of your business or your life overnight. And
For
that's a great story.
sure. I mean, hopefully one big takeaway is that during a really bad time in the economy and a really bad situation, I know people that killed themselves because of real estate, right? They just didn't see a way out. They were way in over their head. I know 2 different people that killed themselves because of the real estate debt and because how crushed they became. The big thing I hope people get is that how grateful I am 11 years later, thanking that person for reaching out to me, because right now there's a lot of people that had their careers figured out 6 months ago. You know, at one point there were 750,000 Uber drivers, and there's conflicting articles out there, but most agree that they made between $60 to $300 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you just look at that, okay, and now add on top of all the service people, hospitality, and weirdly enough, medical staff that have been affected by being laid off, furloughed, let go, cut hours, unsure, businesses, unfortunately, burnt to the ground. There's all kinds of circumstances going on nowadays, right? And so you look at how many people 6 months ago had their career figured out. They don't have anything figured out now. And you're nervous to tell people that you have a solution that they could make money from home. You got to get over yourself. You got to stop worrying about how you look to others or being afraid of rejection. And you have to look at how many people are on their hands and knees at night saying, man, I wish I could find a way because I don't know that I'm going to have that job, or I've already lost my job, or I don't know what the heck my career is going to be. And so I really hope people have that as a takeaway, that now is a time where you need to be sharing your solution, and don't be addicted to the outcome. Don't shove it down someone's throat or beat them over the head with it, but at least offer it, man, because there's so many people that have been affected. I would argue more people affected now than even by real estate. And that's some big numbers.
Yeah, no, that's such a great point. I remember, Ray, when I was helping a lady launch her business, and she was like, well, I would like to share it with this person, but her husband's a financial planner. She's driving a nice BMW. She's doing really well. And I'm like, your job is not to judge whether or not, try to predict whether they're going to be interested or not. You're just going to take them from not knowing to knowing, and you never know what they're going through. What's fascinating, she's like, okay, I'll invite her. I'm like, because you want her to know what you're doing, even if it's not for you, because she may know someone. And come to find out, once the lady looked at the information, she was most excited of anyone, right, that she had shared the information with her first day. She came up afterwards and she shared a story with her and myself going, listen, no one knows this. My husband's a financial planner. We're getting ready to lose everything. If we bankrupt, he loses his job. Can't be a financial planner. We've been praying for something. Man, thank God you thought of us. You have no idea what it means. Ray, 93 days later, she hit the top position in the company and went on to be a Millionaire Club member, in that company. And it's just a great story. Like, you never know. And
Never know.
Frozen yogurt. Look, I didn't give a rip if you like frozen yogurt or not, but when we spent that kind of money, you're going to know about the yogurt business because you're going to know someone that likes yogurt. So that's a great point, which brings me to the next thing, Ray, is that we, before, and I know, when we were building in the field, you had to sometimes, not really selling, but you had to soften them up. Like, hey, have you ever thought about a plan B? Have you ever thought about possibly working from home? Hey, what if you got laid off? What if you got downsized, right size, capsized? And some people are like, nah, I love my job and I'm not worried about it. Well, after what we've gone through in 2020, you never have to do that again. It's almost, there's low hanging fruit everywhere. I believe we're at a point in 2020 now where network marketing, before COVID, network marketing, over 100 years old, $180 billion industry, 100 million people, working, the industry then. And now there are more people looking to work from home than ever before. Yes. They definitely, because they're like, what are our options? Well, I can go work my job, but that's not a guarantee. I could launch a traditional business. However, who wants to put their name on a 5-year lease like we did? Because who knows, it may happen again. So what do you see changing in the network marketing profession? What's working now that maybe wasn't working before, or is working better than ever before?
Yeah. So you had, it's interesting, when the whole quarantine first started, we started getting reached out to from companies and people that don't typically reach out to us. And, the whole idea of not doing your business on social media went out the window. Like that's just nobody is clinging to that crazy rope of you shouldn't be, doing network marketing on social media. So no one is preaching that anymore. Thank God. And and so like more and more people are like, hey, we got to figure out how to do this virtually. We got to figure out how to still be able to connect with people, still be able to prospect, follow up, et cetera. And so you saw I think that first 2 weeks of the actual quarantine, I did 75 Zooms for different, for different companies, for different groups, for different leaders that were just like, freaking out kind of thing. And so it's just, welcome to, I don't like the term, the new normal, but I would say the new world. It is a different world now. It is how do I not rely on everything that's offline? And not that we're just all going to be virtual reality people now and, never have anything. There'll still be that. It's just the reliance on that is out the window, companies and because of that and other things, you're seeing, non-network marketing companies just pulling way back from the cities. They're like, maybe we don't need those office buildings anymore that got burnt down anyway. And so like you got companies making some major changes in, more outside of network marketing, I would say. But it's how the problem is one of the, social media is one of the greatest things for network marketing. And it's also one of the worst, because that person who back in the 90s was a terrible networker and hypey and spammy and just not skilled at softening it up like you talked about. Well, they can only turn off 8 or 9 people in their village or town. Well, the worst networker is still connected to hundreds of people now, and so like on social media. And so, whereas a terrible networker in your team, it's Joe, he's kind of crazy and kooky. Well, now he's a liability, because what he posts on Facebook is what the FTC sees as that's what you condone unless you're warning Joe. And so the need for teaching compliance, the need for teaching proper strategies that are much less hypey and spammy and slimy, you need to, right? It used to be an option. It ain't an option anymore. You have to teach people how things work, how to do them properly, how not to piss off the government, how not to have your company come across as slimy and spammy. You have to. That's not an option anymore. And it is one of the reasons that we decided to pick this time to do a big virtual event teaching this stuff. So we have our social media super summit that's coming up soon, and it's going to teach people how to do things on Instagram, how to use the new Instagram Reels, how to do things on Facebook that attracts people to you, doesn't repel people, and also doesn't get you in trouble from the government or get you in trouble with anybody. And we're big fans of using attraction marketing to attract people to you. It's what we've been doing for 11 years. I mean, I remember when I was building my network marketing organization, I was, without ads, generating over 3,000 leads a month. Without ads, I wasn't doing ads. Now, I'm not saying not to do ads, but I wasn't at the time, because I was doing so many different videos that provided education and value without even talking about my company or my product, that we had over 3,000 leads a month coming in every single month, reaching out to us. And so we teach that kind of stuff, and that's what's needed. What's needed is, how do you properly brand yourself? How do you properly show up on social media in a way that attracts people and is very efficient?
No, that's brilliant. Yeah. And let me ask you a quick question. I want everybody to participate in this because I like seeing engagement. And I learned from one of the top, brain health, Jim Quick, right? He was the guy that was labeled as, the kid with the damaged brain. And now he teaches on how to do these amazing things with your brain. But he said, if your body's moving, your brain is grooving, right? You retain it more. So there's only so many ways you can move your body while we're doing this. But one of the ways you can participate in the chat. And I did this in a training last week, and it was fascinating, the response. And this is what was asked to me by a mentor many years ago when I was making excuses. And he basically, I gave him every excuse, Ray. I'm like, well, there was a big event coming up. And he said, I'll see you at the big event. And I'm like, no, you won't see me at the big event. And he's like, well, why not? I'm like, I can't afford it. And he asked, he said, what did you just say? I said, I can't afford it. And by the way, I learned never to say that. Ask, how can I afford it? Right. And he goes, how many years have you been working? And I go, my whole life. And you can't afford to take off 48 to 72 hours and go to an event to work on your fortune, not your job. For things to change, you've got to change. To get something different, you got to do something different. And I go, well, I have kids. I don't have a lot of time. Sometimes we say that like it's a disease. I got the kids. You got the kids. And he's like, I thought that was your reason. I didn't know that was going to be your excuse. And I didn't take that well. He's like, you want daycare raising your kids, or do you want to raise your kids? Like, this is why it's important to have people. And yeah, I didn't want to hear it, but I needed to hear it.
Right.
And I go, let me think about it, which was code for let me go call my broke friends and family and ask them what they think. Who cares? They're broke. It's like you asking me for hair care tips. You don't want to ask me. You can ask Ray. His hair looks a lot better than mine. Right. And now, if you want to know how to shine your head, I can help you with that one.
Nice.
And so what happened, Ray, was he asked me this question. And so for all of you, what would happen if the next 10 weekends in a row, 5 or 10 weekends in a row, you went to a different city, state, province in Canada, country, and you were trained by one of the top money earners in your company, or the top networkers in the entire industry, or a top social media expert like Chalene Johnson? This podcast has been downloaded 20 million times. She's broken world records with her fitness videos, and she's a legend in the social media marketing branding world. People like that. What would that do for your business? And because of lack of time, I'll answer you. I'll share with you the answers we got last week, right? People say, look, it would shave years off my learning curve, Ray. It would speed up my business several years if I did that. Right. Then my next question was, how many of you, even if you felt comfortable traveling right now, would want to travel to 5, 10 different city, states, province, and Canada's countries? Well, you want to spend $10,000, $20,000 in travel expenses? You want to spend 10 weekends away from your family? And people go, no, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. Well, the good news, when you have an event, and this is the old school, Ray, when I had to drive and hide my car because they were going to repossess it. But I've been in that company. This is my 8th year, right? And 13 months. And they were looking for my car, and all my team had quit. And I was just at the end of my rope. And you said yours were until and despite.
Right.
Mine was, I still have it on a 3x5 card. I will until.
Nice.
A mentor of mine said, Darren, success is buried right underneath frustration. And I knew I had to be close. So long story, I went to that event. It completely changed my world, because in that 48 to 72 hour window, those people were there. Right. And it launched my business. It changed everything. And so the good news is you don't have to do that traveling. You don't have to spend $10,000 or $20,000. Ray has an event, him and Jessica, which we all know that Jessica taught Ray everything that he knows, right? And he'll admit that.
She's the brains and the beauty. I guess I'm the muscle, but she's also pretty strong. So I don't even know what the hell I am. But
there you go.
And she's a nice allowance. I appreciate it.
I love it. Well, it's like I told people the other day, my wife and I got into an argument. She came crawling to me on her hands and knees, and she said, "Get out from underneath the bed, you coward." And but I always get the last 2 words in, yes, dear. So this event coming up, Ray, I mean, the speakers that you have coming to this event, I mean, you got Oprah Winfrey's coach, you got Chalene Johnson, you got some of the top social media influencers. I'm going to let you talk about that. But this one event, in my opinion, can speed up your business 1 to 2 years. And then I'll give a few little tips on how I would promote it. And I would love to hear what you say about it. But DarrenKidd.com/live, which is on the screen right now, is where you get more details on this event. But Ray, I would love to know more details? Who are some of the speakers? Why you would recommend participating?
Yeah, for sure. I think there's two big things to know. Is one, yes, the speakers, right? So, we've had a good time here in 30 minutes or whatever. This is 3 days. This is a 3-day deep dive. Myself and my wife. I know that when we can dive deep with you, and it is a virtual experience, so you don't have to travel. You don't have to do the. I don't know if anyone. I've flown during this whole time, and it kind of sucks to keep your mask on the whole time. And so you don't have to fly. You don't have to travel. You don't have to do any of that stuff, which is kind of nice. But we have, like you said, Chalene Johnson, who's the only female ever to have 2 #1 infomercials. Right. She's just a legend, 20 million downloads on her podcast. And she's going to be talking about some of the latest, coolest, most amazing things that she's been doing and teaching on Instagram Reels, how to generate leads, how to get a bunch of people connected to your stories and following you. And so she's going to rock it. And if you know who she is a ball of energy. So she's going to have you probably dancing. You'll be dancing by your ironing board, or you'll be dancing by the washer dryer, whatever. And then we have Tim Story, who was Oprah Winfrey's coach. He's actually, his nickname that he was given by Robert Downey Jr. Is the comeback coach. So if you've ever felt like you needed to make a comeback, right? Or to overcome obstacles or trauma, or maybe just to get out of your funk, he's the guy. He's the guy that the celebrities go to, that the pros go to help them make a comeback. He's the guy. Then we have Pete Vargas, who in the last few years has booked over 20,000 stages. He is the king. Him and his company are the king of getting people booked on stages and helping them become better speakers. And so he's going to be rocking it. I'm really excited about him. He actually runs the speaking teams. His company runs the speaking teams for Tony Robbins, Dean Graziosi, Russell Brunson, Michael Hyatt, and our company, which we launched right during quarantine. So they haven't been utilized a whole lot just yet, but we're working with Pete on that. We have my mindset coach, Elliot Rowe, who Elliot has coached. He coaches, I think, 8 of the top 10 poker players in the world. He coaches several of the top MMA fighters in the world. He is a performance coach, but what he's helped me with is he helped me get over a major issue that I could not pinpoint that happened when I was in the 3rd grade. And it has all to do with trust. And I'll share, since we kind of went there. I have mentally, socially distanced myself from everyone, but pretty much my wife, my whole life. If I saw someone at an event, I would say, "Hey, how you doing?" I'd be nice to them, maybe friendly to them, but I wouldn't let them in. I didn't let anybody in. And that, and I never really knew, why that was, but I just, whatever. Well, and I'm keeping this, taking a long story short here, but the reality is of why that happened is I had a guidance counselor betray me in 3rd grade. You see, she was the only person in my life that I'd ever confided in about my abuse, how I was, grabbed by the ankles every morning, thrown against the closet and stomped, how when, one day when I was sick and I vomited in my oatmeal and I refused to eat it, that I was stabbed in the chest, how I was just beaten all the time. And my 3rd grade teacher knew that something was wrong, something was off, and had me start meeting with this guidance counselor. And I started trusting her. And so I shared these things, and it was like, it kind of felt nice because I'd never shared it with anyone. I had nobody to talk to. I'm just, by myself, just taking this abuse. I thought it was normal. And one day I walked in on for our meeting. There sat my dad and my stepmom, which my stepmom was the one doing the abuse. And the guidance counselor went and shared every single thing I'd ever told her because she thought I was making it up. She couldn't believe it. It was too outrageous. And so she shared every single thing I'd ever told. And that was a bad day. That was a very bad day. And that's the day that I stopped trusting anybody. Nobody since. And see, I didn't know why don't I let people in? And you know who helped me get over that? That was Elliot. Elliot's the guy that helped me get over that. And I have him speaking. It's the first time he's speaking at one of our events. And he just helped me with such a major breakthrough. And I know that he can help you with a major breakthrough. We have, now to continue on, right? But we have Marina Simone, we have Diane Hockman, we have Angel Fletcher, we have Ryan Higgins. All of these are absolute top earners in their company. All of them are total rock stars and amazing at what they do. And so I know that 3 days with us, you can change your life. But one last thing I want to share is this is not a Zoom. This is not a webinar. This is a virtual experience. So when you check into the ballroom, you are checked in by a human being that greets you and actually talks to you. Imagine that. You get introduced into the ballroom, and where we have live Q&A, we have questions. I'm going to be in front of a humongous screen, same company, same team that worked with Tony Robbins at his big event. So I'm going to see you. You turn on your camera, I'm going to be able to see you and your furry friends or your kids running by and pulling your hair or whatever. I'm going to be able to see you. If you were 2 rows away from the stage and we were in person, I can't read your name tag. I can read your name on the Zoom screens, right? I can see you, right? And so we're going to have leaderboards. We're going to have all kinds of different things. I'm going to press a button, beep, and all of you will be split into 5 to 6 rooms of 5 to 6 people, where you'll get a mastermind question that you'll actually get to mastermind and brainstorm on. You'll be given equal mic sharing time, so there's no dominant person in your group. But I press a button, you all get split into groups where you get a mastermind question, and that's how you get maximum absorption. It's not just being a spectator for all 3 days. It's actually really in getting you involved, getting you participating, like you said, get your body moving, right? And so we're really excited about this. This is something that we hired the best in the world to have this virtual experience for you. And so I would encourage you. And by the way, we're going to have people all over the world that are tuning in live, because you don't want to watch the replay. You want to be there live. So we have people, we'll have Team Singapore, Team Malaysia, Team Australia, Team New Zealand. We already have people saying it. We have some people that are actually renting a hotel to go and dedicate their focus and time. Not that you have to do that, but some people are. But I would encourage you to not just get a ticket, not just choose to invest in yourself and get a ticket, but also choose commitment over convenience. Don't plan on buying the recordings. Instead, show up live, participate with us. That leaderboard, you'll be able to win some prizes too. So we're going to have a lot of fun, and many details that I'm leaving out or just not thinking about right now are on the link at darrenkidd.com/live. And so check those out. And the cool news is the timing of this is the price does go up on Friday, but you can get for less than $35 a day, you can be on this experience with all of these rock stars and more, and we'd love to see you on there.
Awesome. And real quick before I forget, for every one of you that actually purchased by midnight tonight, I'm going to do an exclusive behind doors, closed Q&A, Zoom training, leadership principles, just for this group, is my way of investing into you and just saying, appreciate you making that commitment. And Ray, what's fascinating, and I'm still working on how to get the point across. When I was building just 3 years ago, we got started. I was mixing in the social media. And by the way, for all of you, here's what I did. I had no social media following. I had no social media experience when I was building in the field. So I went out and I hired, Kim Garst, one of the top 10 social media experts in the world in Forbes magazine, for a VIP day. A lot of money. I hired one of the top, YouTubers in Forbes magazine. A lot of money. Flew out to Vegas multiple times, which is one of the reasons my YouTube exploded, even though I've neglected it for 2 years, right? And many more. Then Ray, you don't have to do that. All you got to do is buy a ticket to this one event, right? And you're going to have all of that and more. He's only given you a few of the details. It's going to be so much more. So Ray, even when I was building high tech and high touch, 3 years ago, what I did, and I'll tell you what I did to build, we had our biggest event here in Virginia was 4,000 people at the Richmond Convention Center. And the way that we did that, when I had an event like this, I'm like, there's a difference in announcing and a difference in promoting. And most people don't know what they don't know. And if I don't get them to the next event, then most likely they're not going to be in the business the next event.
Right.
And we get paid based on the size of the problem that we can solve. And so what I would do is I would go to people like, let's say Lisa. I'll use her. We weren't, we're not in the same company. I'm not in the company, but we used to be in the same company. I would say, hey, Lisa, you know what? What's your goal for the event? Because every person in Ray, I don't know if you were at the event with Eric Worre when it was like 200 or 300 6- and 7-figure earners in a room. And they go, what's the average income per person you have at an event? And they averaged it out that day, and it was at least $1,000. And I remember one of the top leaders like, hey, I debated it. I went back and surveyed my leaders. And so I'm like, wow, okay, so if I get 25 people to the event, not just in one organization, split out with my team, then I have a really good chance of exploding my income. And the way I looked at it was like a trampoline. When I share the story, you'll know I broke 7 bones growing up. But my neighbor had a trampoline. It wasn't enough for me just to jump on the trampoline. But I'm like, what if we push it over to the deck, jump off of the railing? And then we had hey, what if we hold hands, lock arms? When we hit that trampoline, we're going to explode into the air. And we did. Not smart. Do not try that at home. And don't let your kids watch this. And so the way I look at this event is it's a trampoline. And if you want to explode your business, if you want to shave years off your learning curve, if you want to paint a picture and a vision, and you're in the people are in your company, but when they leave, there's something in them that drives so much more of the right behaviors. They have the knowledge, the skills, the mindset, the attitude. And so what we would do is we would take inventory, and then we would get people, Ray, to rent buses.
Yep.
Fill the bus. I mean, that's a massive commitment. Now, there are tickets, like you can get 5 or 10 tickets.
Yep.
I can see Lisa Yawn doing that, where her going, hey, look, I'm going to go ahead and buy 10 tickets because I get a discount. And then, selling those to her organization so she has momentum in every one of her legs coming out of that event. But
Right.
You'll be the Don King of promotion when it comes to promoting this event. Because when they get there and they get that information, it's gonna take them to a whole nother level. And so, Ray, is there anything else you want to add? Because I know we've kept you about 45 minutes, but I just appreciate your time. I know how busy you are, but I know how impactful this event is going to be to people in their business.
No, I mean it's a great thing that you just brought up. We do have 5 packs and 10 packs, and yeah, you save a little bit with the 5 packs and the 10 packs. And the thing to really understand is we don't have people across our stage that aren't crushing it on social media. The sub headline of the event is Social Media Super Summit, which is no longer an option. Learning effective social media is no longer an option. And you have to learn how to acquire customers. You have to learn how to run a team. One of the sections on day 2 that I'm diving into is exactly what leaders hire me to do, which is audit their Facebook group, which is audit their team, audit their culture. And I go through and I break down why contests work, why they don't work. I break down why their units tab is a nightmare and why they got to clean it up, and exactly how to word it, exactly what units to destroy, and exactly what needs to be expanded on, actually, because sometimes there is that. And so this is you learning how to run a team, how to recruit, how to get customers from social media is no longer an option. Neither is it for your team. And so I would, if you want to really take this thing to the next level and really utilize it. And I think this is why we have so many leaders that are promoting this event and having me on lives like this. This will be my 8th for today. And so many leaders is because they want their people to succeed. And I'll tell you another thing that's needed that most leaders, I think, understand. Events are needed. And a lot of events got canceled. A lot of companies ran virtual events for the very first time or just didn't run one. And a lot of these companies aren't used to running virtual events. They're not used to managing the energy. That is what we've been doing for a really long time. So we know how to manage energy so there's maximum absorption as well as good, solid strategy, because the entire 3 days is packed with strategy that anybody can do to grow their business. And so we're excited for it. I think it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and again, when you were just saying that, in my mind, I'm thinking you're downloading decades and days. Because I also remember that I flew out to California. I paid, quite a bit of money for Chalene Johnson's course and program.
Yep.
Flew out to her live event, and so all of you don't have to do the flying. You don't have to do, thousands of dollars of investing. You can take and get these tickets, and you're going to get access to all of that and much more. So again, make sure you purchase by midnight tonight. You can continue to purchase, but to get that hour, leadership training, closed door session, Q&A with me, plus all the bonuses you're going to see on the page. So Ray, we just appreciate you. I can't wait for the event. I'm more excited now than I was before because you gave a few more details that I didn't even. When I think it can't get any better, you continue to up that. And for all of you that know Ray, that's what he does. Him and Jessica, they always have some little surprises they throw in there just to make it better and better. And this is going to be an experience that you will look back. It's an event that's never happened before. It's one that will never happen again. And right now, the way that my mindset is, you're preparing everything you do right now. You're setting up your 2021,
right.
And this is going to help you, crush not only the rest of the year, but it's going to help you prepare to make 2021 one of the most amazing years you've ever had. So we appreciate everybody joining. Make sure to, tag anybody.
Lisa's asking about the dates. It's October. It is on the link right there, darrenkidd.com/live, but it's October 8th through 10th. And so October 8th through 10th, and the times I believe are on that page as well.
Yeah, everything should be on that page. And then if not, you can message me and we'll make sure we get you the details. But well, listen, everybody, make sure you tag your organization. And if you don't have time to promote before the prices go up, go ahead and get you a 5 or 10 pack of tickets, and because you want people to have skin in the game. I've learned that as well. A lot of times if you give them something for nothing, what's that, Ray?
At least make them earn it. Like I don't like, people don't appreciate things they're given. If you're going to do a 5-pack or 10-pack, either sell them, right? Or make them earn them, right? If someone went and got 2 customers, dude, I want them to go to this event. Here's a ticket, man, because I want them to go from 10. I mean, just today, I interviewed a guy that's going to be on one of our panels who has brought in 1,500 customers since our last event. 1,450 of them were cold messages. Wow.
That's impressive.
100% social media.
Yeah, that's a great point. Incentives, right? Give them some incentives because you're recognizing, you're promoting, you're spotlighting the right behavior, you're rewarding them, and that investment that you made in them. Not only is it a business expense, right? But it's gonna pay. People go, what do you invest in right now? You invest in your team, right? Their assets, their family. And Zig Ziglar said, if you can help enough other people get what they want, you're automatically going to get what you want. And so you want an army of people that are getting the right information. And I can't wait to hear that training where that guy got 1,500 customers, right? And so it's fun. You're learning and growing.
A bonus training is I have him, his name's Forrest. He's actually going to go screen by screen in the group, in the ticket holders group, because we have a separate group just for ticket holders. And he's going to go screen by screen what he does every day and how he is brought in, because he's brought in 1,500 customers, but 1,450 of them were cold messages this last year. And so on Thursday at 5:15 Eastern, he's going live in the ticket holders group, and he's going to show his screen. Here's how I find people. Here's what I say to him. And he's just going to show you what he does. And so it's pretty awesome. He's a beast.
Well, and that's one of the mistakes that I made. We'll leave you with this too, unless you have something to add to it, Ray. But I used to tell people what to do, tell them what to do. It sounds like to me this whole entire event is going to be tell them what to do, show them what to do. They start trying it, then they do it on their own, right? Tell, show, try, do.
Exactly. And that's what we're doing in some of these breakout rooms too. So it's gonna be awesome, man.
I can't wait. I was a part of one of Tony Robbins' recent events where he did something similar to what you're talking about. But it sounds like to me you're even taking it up a notch from what he did, and it was so fun and it was engaging and the time flew by. And so you can be in your pajamas drinking your favorite beverage, and yes, we don't make what we want, we make what we are. And if we want to make more, we have to become more. And this is an event that is going to help all of us grow to the next level, including myself. I can't wait to take in all that information. So we appreciate each and every one of you watching. Ray, thank you so much. Please tell Jessica we said hello, and thank you for giving you some time with us tonight.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
All right, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye.
Thanks.